So there you go, you guys. That is the first pass at my budget for the month of August. 2, 4, 6, 80, 90. For so many years, I ran away from budgeting. I hid from budgeting. I struggled with my finances. I lived with anxiety every single day because I thought that if you wanted to budget, you had to be perfect. And I knew I would never be perfect. I failed every single time I tried to be perfect. So instead, I just gave up. The stubborn part of me doesn't like restricting myself, and I'm tempted to up my budget. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is time for another How I Budget video at the start of a new month. I'm going to be taking you guys through step by step how I budget my paychecks, how I do my savings, how I do my monthly cash budget. And as always, we are going to be getting real cozy, talking about how I felt about money this month and just overall having some really good chats about money. How many times can I say money in like one breath? Today is August 1st. I am so excited to be sitting down and doing my budgeting. I love doing it on camera for you guys. And I just wanna say a quick thank you for all of the love on these videos. Ever since I changed these videos to like really specifically how I budget, I feel like you guys have been kind of extra loving them, and that makes me really happy because as always, my goal is to just have like a friendly and comfortable space where we can talk about personal finances, talk about our feelings related to personal finances, with the overall goal of kind of slowly but surely and just gently improving our relationship with money, improving our confidence as it relates to money, and improving, honestly, our life as a result. I have seen tremendous change in my life. I really want to talk about that today, thanks to all of these steps that I've been doing over the years. Sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it feels like things are moving slowly and it feels like you need to be hard on yourself in order to get results. But when I look back at how far I've come, it actually hasn't been that much time, and I have made tremendous strides. So I'm so happy that you're here. My name is Zoe. I'm 27. I just turned 27. I live in Montreal, and I love to talk about money and mental well-being as well as lifestyle. So I make a lot of personal finance content, and I also make a lot of vlogs and other lifestyle videos like that. I'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm so excited for the month of August in terms of just like what is coming up on my channel. I really want to do another vlog week, so please subscribe to my channel. Your support really means the world to me, and whether or not you're new, please give this video a thumbs up because that really supports my channel, makes me happy as well. And the last thing I'll say is you can follow me on Instagram. I've been posting a lot over there. So like I said, it's August 1st. I'm drinking an iced coffee. The ice is melting though, but it's so crazy. I feel like I'm already starting to see fall-centric content online, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so not ready for summer to be over. So this is still gonna be in the vibes of summer money because August is very much summer. I wanna start out by talking a little bit about money feels this month and how I've been feeling. I feel like I've been in an extra reflective mood just because my birthday was a few days ago. For me, my birthday is like the mid-year point. My birthday is July 30th, so it's not exactly the midpoint, but for me, it feels like it is, and I just always do like a lot of reflecting, and I get really in my feels in a good way for the most part. I bought myself a really beautiful gift. I will put a picture on the screen, but I think you guys know by now. I bought myself my first luxury purchase in the month of July. I bought it like right around my birthday, and that purchase plus my birthday really had me looking back at how far I've come. I know it's materialistic, like, you know, it's a bag or whatever, but it's something that I'd been dreaming about for a long time, saving up for a long time. And I was finally able to be in a place financially where I could, without a shred of guilt, take action and actually make this big purchase. Plus, I did it in a very financially savvy way. I bought it used, I had like a discount code, and just overall, it was a really empowering purchase. The best part of that is that I bought it pretty much with cash. Like I had been saving up in cash for that purchase. So I want to talk to you guys later when we get into the cash envelopes portion of the video about like just how the cash envelopes have really affected my confidence. But doing the cash envelopes method enabled me to make that purchase, and that is something that I just feel really proud of. Aside from that big purchase, I've been feeling really, really good about money in terms of my day-to-day like spending this month. I feel like I was very reasonable with everything. I wasn't too restrictive, but I also made smart decisions. I feel like I ate out about once or twice a week and maybe got coffee out about once or twice a week. And for the most part, I was like almost exactly on budget with everything. If you guys want to see exactly how much I spent and like on what, I have a full video going over that. I just uploaded it, so I will link it up here or down below. You guys can see like literally everything that I spent, but I feel like everything was reasonable. Of course, it's all relative, and to each person, you know, reasonable spending is different, but I felt very confident this month with my spending. Where I felt a bit funny this month and where I felt actually a lot of financial anxiety creeping in was related to my earnings. I feel like pretty much throughout my life, it's dramatic, but I feel like I've always had this feeling that I'm never earning enough. It's definitely something that I struggle with. Sometimes it's a comparison thing. Like sometimes I'm comparing myself to someone else who I know earns more than me, and I tell myself, oh, I should earn as much as them, or, you know, they can do it. Why am I not doing it? This time around, it hasn't been a comparison thing. It's more been wanting to feel safe. I feel like I'm constantly chasing this salary number in my head that is going to make me feel safe. It used to be around $75,000 a year. For whatever reason, it's moved over to $100,000 a year. And I think the 75, I know where it comes from. It comes from this like study that I read about back in university. The 100,000, I think, comes from social media, seeing what other people earn and, you know, this desire to earn six figures. As of right now, I don't know what my annual salary is because my monthly income varies so much. I have income fluctuations of up to like almost 50% in a month. Like it's crazy. And so lately I haven't been craving a stability, but I've been craving like a feeling of security. I think I anticipated this summer for my earnings to be a little bit lower. In July, I ended up having my highest earning month yet. Yet still, I didn't feel secure because I, with a lot of reflection, realized that I have this fear sometimes of when something good happens, I fear that it's not going to last and I feel like it's going to be taken away from me, and that makes me feel unsteady as well. So you guys can see my mental patterns here are they clash because on the one hand, I'm craving, you know, higher earnings, whatever. When I get those higher earnings, I don't feel safe because I'm like, well, it's not gonna last, don't get used to it. So I get what I'm wishing for and I'm not satisfied. And that, you guys, is such an important life lesson because we are always craving more. And I just think that's why it's so important to be grateful for what we have. So I've really been challenging myself with this higher earning month to not fuss about whether it's gonna last or not, and not worry about that, but just be so grateful and be so smart with what I have. Like that I had this higher earning month and really like keep that money and put it in my savings and not go crazy, which is what we're gonna work on today. We're gonna assign that money and we're gonna put it where it needs to go. I think if I had to summarize where my fear comes from, it's kind of this fear of like the well running dry. But what I've been reading about and what I'm really trying to work on is that abundance mindset that says that there is enough for everyone, that, you know, abundance is like an ocean and there's no well running dry. There's really truly enough for everyone and your own supply can be limitless. So that's what I'm working on. That's very deep inside my heart. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because I'm sure I'm not alone. So moving forward, what I really want to work on is, of course, all of those positive thoughts and just kind of rewiring my brain. I also really want to, now that I'm, you know, just past my birthday and all that, I want to focus on my savings a little bit more and just think to myself, okay, where do I want to prioritize this extra income that I got, let's call it. Of course, I just had a big purchase that I saved up for, but the next big purchase needs to be one that I also save up for. I'm not just gonna take this extra income and like blow it, which is something old Zoey would have done. So new Zoey's gonna be smart. That is one of my goals for this month, is to think about, okay, where do I wanna put this extra money so that it can best make me feel safe, which is my biggest insecurity. And I think as a result, it needs to be my biggest goal right now. So cheers to feeling grateful, cheers to feeling safe. I'd love to know from you guys in the comments where you're currently at with your money feels. Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling not so confident? Let me know. I think sometimes just expressing how you feel, for me on camera, it could be for you guys in the comments, or even with a friend, wherever you feel comfortable. Sometimes just saying out loud the thing that's bothering you really allows it to set you free. I think it was 2 or 3 months ago when I really opened up about my comparison struggles. I haven't been struggling as much with comparison ever since I really opened up about it and got you guys' external perspective as well. So you can let me know in the comments if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, I just highly recommend letting it out wherever you feel comfortable doing so. Now it's time to talk numbers. So I forgot my gorgeous linen notebook at my office. So we're gonna do my budgeting, and this is my personal journal. All of my secrets of my mind are in here. They're also on the internet because I'm like that. So in my last monthly money video, I sat down with you guys at my desk and showed you how I kind of go through category by category and set my day-to-day spending for the month. As you guys know, I do the cash envelopes method of budgeting. So I set a cash budget every single month. It is usually around $1,000. Last month, I brought it down to $900, and this month I set the budget at $950. The reason for $950 is I did pretty well with $900. However, I just wanted to give myself a little bit more wiggle room in certain categories. So I like to do everything by hand to start. I just feel like I'm the type of person who thinks better with like pen and paper. And then you guys can see my budget tracker behind me. We'll go and put everything in there. So what I like to do to start is just on this kind of blank piece of paper, I always write the total amount at the top, and then I write out each of my categories that I use for my day-to-day spending. So let's go do that really quick. Okay, so I have them all written down. They are all the same categories as usual, except, oh, my pen. Except that I added a new category, which is books. As I was writing this though, I was like, ugh, I don't know if I want to do that. Just because every month I challenge myself to start using the public library, and every month I don't. And the reason I don't is because the bookstores allow me to bring Maggie with me and the public library doesn't. And if the library allowed dogs, I would be a regular there. Anyway, that's just my personal problem. So now begins the game of Tetris. I honestly love doing this every single month. It's so calming for me making a decision about where I want my money to go. I highly recommend doing this, whether or not you use the cash envelopes method, whether or not you use a digital budget tracker like this, writing down either on paper or somewhere on the computer, what do you want your spending to be? Where do you want your money to go? It's so empowering. It's not about sticking to it perfectly. It's not about punishing yourself if you don't. It's just about trying to have an idea of where your money goes. Then at the end of the month, you get to reflect and kind of see how you did. And that is just one way that you can slowly and surely make strides towards bettering your kind of personal finance habits and personal finance health, if you will. Oh, I forgot to say this at the beginning. I'm not an expert, okay? I'm not an expert. I'm just a girl on the internet. So this is the Tetris. I always start with groceries because it's always the same $400 Canadian. Coffee is always $10 a week, so $40 a month. Same goes for business expenses. This is for things like coffee or food or snacks while I'm working. This is a category I've lately had a lot of trouble sticking with. I feel like just because it's summertime, I haven't been, meal prepping and cooking as much, but I do want to do better at that this month. I feel last month, if you guys saw what I spent, I had a really expensive lunch that honestly, I didn't feel too good about myself after because that was so expensive. So I just want to avoid those unnecessary and extra expensive eating out moments. So $40 for that. Transportation is another category that I struggled with last month. In the summertime, I use a public bike sharing. It cost me $20 a month. And then I thought that a $35 10 pass on the metro would be enough. It ended up not being enough, so I overspent. It's really hard to gauge whether or not it's gonna be enough. So I think for this month for transportation, let's up the budget to $60 and see what happens. The last category that I'm sure about is dining out. Oh, I forgot to write it down. So last month I did $200, which is $50 a week. It actually worked out perfectly. There were some moments where I was like, restrict yourself, Zoe, restrict yourself. And it worked, but then the stubborn part of me doesn't like restricting myself and I'm tempted to up my budget. I don't know what to do, you guys. Let's wait and see. So around $200. Now I'm gonna add up what I have so far because I'm not the best at mental math, especially not on camera. So we have 400 plus 40 plus 40 plus 60 equals 540. That would have been so easy. Meaning I have about $400 left to place. Personal care is one that I either spend $0 or I spend $100. Last month I spent a lot and I feel like if I'm being realistic, this month I may end up spending a lot too because I have my eye on a new protein powder, which is about $60. Plus I'm gonna go get my nails done, which is another $60. So if I'm being real, I should be budgeting here $120 for personal care. Let's try it. Let's see if it works. So we're gonna do 120. Okay, books, we're gonna put it at 0. My new category doesn't exist. Home, we're also gonna put it at 0. I don't need anything else for the house. And if I do, JS and I actually currently have like a little mini savings account together. It's made up of like things that we've sold on Facebook Marketplace and like just little, it's like money we put aside for the house, and there's still some money in there. So anything that needs to get bought from the house, the money would come from that pool, which is just separate from my personal budget. So the categories we have left to figure out are dining out, treat yourself, and Maggie. Normally, I also do a cash budget for my gifts category. However, JS's birthday is coming up and I already know what I'm gonna get him. I'm not gonna pay cash for it and it's kind of expensive. So for that reason, I'm just like, I'm gonna leave it out. I'm gonna, you know, eat that purchase. So we have those 3 categories left and just under $300. So, okay, we're gonna stick with 200 for dining out. It means that if I want to, you know, buy that protein powder, I have to restrict maybe a little bit more in dining out. These are the compromises we sometimes have to make in life. So that means we have $90 left to put between treat yourself and between Maggie. I'm gonna put treat yourself at nothing right now, and I'm gonna put the whole 90 towards Maggie. Treat yourself at 0 because 1, it was just my birthday. I feel like I really don't need anything else too crazy. And 2, if I buy something, it just will probably end up on credit. So there you go, you guys. That is the first pass at my budget for the month of August. Whenever I show that or talk about my cash budget, I often get questions like, well, what about your rent? What about your Netflix? What about XYZ? I have chosen, personally, to do my cash budget for my day-to-day spending. That means going out for coffee, going to the restaurant, little purchases that are normally under $100. If it's over $100, I will usually end up putting it on credit. 1, for simplicity, 2, maybe to get the points, and 3, probably because it just doesn't fit into this cash budget. I've chosen to do it that way for a variety of reasons. For me, it's just I'm not a restrictive person. I'm not a very strict or self-disciplined person. You guys who know my videos and my vlogs like could probably tell that. So sticking to a hard budget, like a really hard and firm budget, it doesn't work for me. And that is the reason why for so many years, I ran away from budgeting. I hid from budgeting. I struggled with my finances. I lived with anxiety every single day because I thought that if you wanted to budget, you had to be perfect. And I knew I would never be perfect. I failed every single time I tried to be perfect. So instead, I just gave up. When I switched to this cash envelopes method, I gave myself permission not to be perfect and to just use this for my day-to-day purchases and just do the best I can. And you guys, it has gone phenomenally well, like life-changingly well. Not from being perfect, not from, you know, paying my Netflix with cash, not from saying no to a million things, not from not buying people gifts, not from never putting anything on my credit card, no. Just from being conscious in my day-to-day spending, because all of those little things, they really do add up at the end of the day. Yes, the big things add up too, but even just being conscious in my day-to-day has helped me be more conscious in the big things. I usually limit them to like 1 or 2 per month because I know that every month there's either gonna be something that I want, something for someone else, a trip or a trip to the vet. And that's life, and life is meant to be enjoyed. So that's my rant about not needing to be perfect and how these cash envelopes have just given me, they've made it fun, and they've made just day-to-day spending and keeping track and controlling my day-to-day spending so fun that I don't feel like I need to be perfect. And I wanna tell you guys kind of more about my success story that I had mentioned at the beginning of this video. I think now is the perfect time before we go and like stuff the cash envelopes and everything. I started doing this method in October and I instantly saw incredible results. I think when I calculated everything, I had decreased my spending by like 40%, which is really, really high. As of like January or February, I decided to start putting all of my leftover cash at the end of the month into a special envelope that I named savings. And I was going to use that cash and use those savings to save up for a luxury purchase. And I did. I bought a Louis Vuitton bag with my leftover cash from having fun doing my budgeting. Isn't that insane, you guys? My leftover cash, like that is just passive savings for something that I've been wanting for years that I probably otherwise never really would have given myself permission to buy, or if I did buy it, I would have felt guilty after because I hadn't planned for it. I planned for it, I saved for it, I bought it, all very, very passively from doing a different budgeting method just for my day-to-day spending. And no, I wasn't perfect along the way. And yes, I got a good deal on the bag because I bought it used, but All of that added up to just such a big, important purchase for me. The fact that it was passive, the fact that I had fun doing it along the way, it's just so amazing and so empowering. I also managed to save up additional money because whenever I do put things on credit, or when I put something on credit that should have been from a cash envelope, I take that cash out of the envelope and put it into my spent on credit envelope. That money is meant to be taken to the bank, deposited into the ATM, and then put onto my credit card. But what I did a couple months, I did it 2 months in a row, I kept that money aside, and I just, purely because I kind of forgot to deposit it at the ATM, and I ended up with something like $700. No, maybe it wasn't that high. No, I'm sorry, I'm exaggerating. I ended up with about $450 in cash after like 2 or 3 months. That was just sitting there. It's like bonus money. Seriously, you guys, this method for me is so abundant. It's so life-changing. I just love it so much. I can't recommend it enough that you guys try it. So that's my like heart-to-heart success story. It's honestly, it just makes me so happy to see these results while I'm having so much fun and while I'm not restricting myself or anything. Very life-changingly empowering. These are the cash envelopes that I was just talking about, my little babies. I love them so much. Huge shout out to the line for introducing me to this method. And of course, these products are from there. The budget tracker that you guys see behind me too is from there. What I will do, let's do it together. I feel like I never do this part of my budgeting routine on camera. Okay, so here on the screen, you guys can see we are in the month of August. I'm gonna show you how I now go in and set up a new month. After I do everything on paper, I like to come in here and have it on hand digitally, because this is how I stay up to date with making sure, you know, my spending is on track and I'm not gonna go over in a certain category too quickly. So here you can see the expense summary. This list is copied over from a different tab. You can see over here, the expense categories tab. I just copy this over, and then in the budget, this is where I need to come in and actually input that new budget that I just wrote down. So I'm gonna copy over all of these numbers. Skiing is $0, gifts is $250. That's about the cost of what I'm getting for JS. Healthcare, I don't foresee anything this month. Gas, we're gonna do probably about $100 realistically. Parking, $0. Workouts, $0. Car stuff, God, hopefully $0. Vacation, $0. And books, we said $0. So you guys can see my total down here, $1,370. That of course includes some of the things being on credit. As I spend and I input them into the expense log, it will populate here in this green category where it says actual, and then I'll be able to see my balance remaining. If you're about to go into the negative, it will turn red. I don't know why that one's red, but it'll turn red. Then I come in here and I will input my rent and everything for the month. So my home rent is $875. I paid that. Oh shoot, I gotta pay my rent today. Okay, so I haven't paid it yet, so I won't put it in. My office rent, shoot, I gotta pay that too. My office rent is $750. My car payment, my first car payment is $104. My office insurance is $100, and my other car payment is $104 as well. So none of these have come out yet. I'm gonna delete those 2 lines and I'm gonna update the dates. I always just put the first to start, and then I'll go in and like edit what day I actually pay it on. But these I need to uncheck because I haven't paid them yet. But once I do go in and send the e-transfer, I can check it off so that I know it's been done. In here too, none of these are real numbers. Let's empty those. I can come in and input like my expected salary. Spin Studio is no more, actually, sad. But I can put in like what I'm expecting to earn from copywriting, from AdSense. Let's put in sponsored videos. I always just put the first for simplicity. So that's how I set up my budget tracker for the month. Anticlimactic. Now it's time for the absolute best part, my favorite part of the month, which is stuffing the cash envelopes. I do these once a month because I get paid like sporadically throughout the month. So I sit down and do my budgeting once a month. So I act as if I'm only getting paid actually once a month. I know for a lot of people that can sound stressful, but I'm just used to it at this point. If you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, I would suggest you set up a frequency that works for you. If it's bi-weekly, maybe you want to sit down twice a month. If it's weekly, maybe you want to consolidate and still do twice a month, or maybe you just want to do once a month. I like once a month personally because I just do like my whole reset once a month and it's kind of easy, and then I check in the middle of the month. And what I do in order to ensure that I have enough money at the end of the month to withdraw in cash is throughout the month, as I do get paid, I put everything into a bank account, what I call 1 month ahead. So I get 1 month ahead of my expenses. So I do $1,000 for cash, even though I did less this month. I always just put in $1,000, and then I do my personal rent of $875. So every month my goal is to, before the end of the month comes around, my goal is to have $1,875 saved up in an account so that I can comfortably pay my rent and do my budgeting at the very beginning of the month. So I went to the ATM the other day. I got out my fat stack of cash, which makes me feel funny, but it also makes me feel very abundant to hold all of this money. Now let's get started and put all of these into their corresponding envelopes. So I'm gonna take all of the envelopes out of these folders. I have so many and I love them. As always, we will start with groceries. 2, 4, 6, 8, 100. 2, 4, 6, 8, 200. Let's do 300. 2, 4, 6, 8, $400. So groceries is always the easiest one, my favorite one. And I keep my scene card, because I mostly shop at IGA. I keep my scene card in this envelope so I have it at all times. Let's do business expenses next. It's just $40. Same goes for coffee. Now let's do dining out. I'm gonna do 2 50s and then 2, 4, 6, 8, $200. All set for transportation. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 120 for personal care. $2, $4, $6, $80, $90 for Magnolia. The last step is to clip everything into the folios. I normally separate them between the black folio. This is the leather one that is customized. This is the one that I carry around with me everywhere. This is the one that I leave at home. Tonight I'm not really going anywhere. I don't actually foresee myself going anywhere or spending money for a few days. Such a nice feeling. So I'm just gonna put everything into the black one for now. I'm sitting at like the worst possible angle for doing this. I'm gonna have to like untwist my back after. Wait, that's a lie. I gotta go get groceries tonight. I'll put all of the empty ones in this white one for now. And that's a wrap. Since I'm just going to get groceries, I'll just carry this one single envelope with me. The next steps, like I said, are to figure out where I want to put my money into savings. Of course, I have my monthly savings goals that have been the same for the past couple of months. I have putting $470 into my emergency fund, continuing to pay off my car loan, and contributing to my RRSP. The only one that I'm going to do today right away is that $470, just because I want to really sit down and do some reflecting on where do I want my money to go. I'm gonna do that in a separate video. I have like a big life reset that I wanna do and film for you guys. So we're gonna talk about my finance goals in that video. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like it was very just kind of heart to heart and emotional, but sometimes that's the way it is. Actually, oftentimes that's the way it is with money. I'm really happy to share, you know, the good and the bad with you guys. And I wanna thank you for being on this journey with me. I am certainly on this journey with you. I hope that you found this video helpful, maybe inspiring, or maybe just plain entertaining. I will stop talking now and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. How do you do this?